I was talking with a friend of mine not that long ago who said uh, she wished when she was a teenager in Sunday school that they would talk about things like good and evil. It's kind of the thing that a lot of liberal Sunday school teachers don't have the chops to talk about. And I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about science fiction. I love science fiction. Some of the older stuff, and some of the, I don't have TV right now, but some of the things that back in my day when I was a teenager, like Star Trek and Star Wars and Babylon 5, Battlestar Galactica. So I've just totally aged myself right there. Um, they were the only place that was talking about good and evil. They were the good guys, the bad guys. The good guys almost always won. But there were challenges and how that all came about. And I was thinking, in churches, we don't have those conversations. We have a certain element in our in the wide Christian umbrella who are obsessed with good and evil, and they think that the entire faith is a battle between God and Satan, or good and evil, and that we have to be saved to be on God's side, otherwise we'll be in eternal damnation and hell. Which, by the way, is not something Jesus ever taught about. That's straight out of Revelation, which was written about 100 years after Jesus existed. So it has nothing to do with the Christian faith that Jesus taught, and everything to do with that person's hate on for the Roman government of the day and wanting to get rid of them. And they were the evil that Revelation is talking about. But good and evil, the thing is, they're both in us. We can't just look at someone and say they're all one or the other. And a lot of Christian theologians along throughout history recognize this. And they've said different things, like we have to eradicate all evil from ourselves. Well, we really can't. It's just part of the human condition. It's that kind of sense of nasty that stomps on ants on the sidewalk or decides to cut up earthworms just to see what's going to happen. It's that in us that decides to bully someone and sneak the last candy that no one else is paying attention to. But the thing is that Jesus did actually speak about our behavior, not the big cosmic battles between God and Satan. That's made up stuff after the fact, but talked about how we have to turn away from the things that were tempting to us, because it's really really easy to give in to the darker parts of us. Whether we're obsessed with popularity, and then when we see the popular kids bullying someone else and we stay silent, that's kind of the evil, the nasty in us that is responding. It's not the good in us. And there's a quote that has been misassigned to a number of people, but essentially it says, the only thing necessary for evil to thrive and survive is when good folks don't do anything. Another quote that's been around the internet for the last little while is says that the Americans are waking up to what the Germans have known for a long time, that 1/3 of your people will attack another third of your people, and the third group of people will just stand on and watch. Now, they're referring to a lot of the racial hate that's going on in the United States and comparing it to the Nazis in Germany. The thing is that we as Christians were given a template of how to behave, a good behavior, by Jesus, but there was never any denial that we have nasty in us. It's a choice. Being good is a choice. When science fiction and fantasy talk about it, they always talk about these great personalities that embody all good, or they have to make hard decisions, but it's ultimately good decisions. Nothing that we do has to be that strenuous. It can be as much as you see bullying going on and you stand up and say no. You see people, I mean, I did this when I was a teenager. I saw one of the students stealing something out of a museum display, and I told on him. I didn't make me popular for sure. I was bullied as a reaction to it. But at the end of the day, I had my integrity. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. Popularity is going to wane, it's not going to last. But how you view yourself, it's going to last for a long time. That kind of integrity is associated with when we make the good choices. So evil is not this outside personified thing that takes over. Evil is in us when we either choose not to do something or we choose to do something that's going to hurt someone else. But it's our choice. Just like being good is our choice. And that's kind of the thing about God. God did not make us to be puppets on a string. Yeah, God's not like Santa Claus that gives us what we want just because we ask for cars and money and whatever. That's not how the whole God human dynamic works. God created us in God's image. You've heard that out of Genesis. Means that we are people who are capable of all the emotions in the world, all the creativity in the world, and all the destruction in the world. But we are the ones with the choice to what we do. And that's kind of what the good and evil thing comes down to. It's not that churches don't talk about it, it's that they don't really want to look at ourselves. Our leaders don't want to look at ourselves and how we behave. But that's something you can look at. Do you choose to let the good in you come through? And this isn't just a one off. It's not like you make a bad choice and decide that you're never going to be good again, because I've certainly made some awful choices that I regret, but at the time, I was going for popularity. Being good is not going to win you hearts and minds, but it will make you feel like you're living up to your potential. And that's a pretty decent thing.